Welcome to Dante's Harmony Podcast, your ultimate source for music, mentoring, and motivation. Join me, Dante Harmon, as I host a one-of-a-kind podcast that showcases the incredible world of sacred steel music. With in-depth interviews, exclusive music, and untold history, this podcast is a must-listen for anyone passionate about music. So tune in, subscribe, and let's harmonize the world of music together. Bring to the forefront. I'm first of all, I'm excited. First of all, that he's here. He's been coming up in probably more of my podcast. His name has been coming up even in the chat of the podcast that I've been having in the past. And he's here today. I remember talking to my dear brother Delray Grace, and he told me, he said, "Man, I think Footie's album is out." I think Footie's album. I said, okay, that's all I needed to know. And when he told me and I saw a couple of shares, I immediately started to share his information and share his album. For those of you all that don't know this gift of a musician, I want to first, before I bring him out, before I bring him up, to make sure that you, first of all, go buy this project. Go to the iTunes store, go to the Google store, and buy the project. Support my dear brother, Reggie Footie Covington. His album, The Rise of the Panther, is out now. It's available on all streaming platforms for you to download and listen to. Let me tell you, there is not one track that is boring. Right? You listen to music and there's certain tracks, okay, you know, it speeds up, it slows down. Listen, this is a track you can just sit and hit play and just let it ride. If you are traveling, if you want to stay woke, right? You need something to groove to, this is the album. There is so much work, and I'm so excited to bring my dear brother up. And without further ado, well, you know, why not? Ladies and gentlemen, coming to Dante's Harmony Podcast, everybody, y'all welcome Reggie Footie Covington. My dear brother, how you doing, man?
What's up, man? I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Man, first of all, thank you for coming. Thank you for agreeing to allow me to not only talk about the album, we just kind of break bread, man, and just catch up on some good stuff, and we talk about, you know, all things Rise of the Panther. First of all, before we get into the album, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good. I'm
doing a little better.
Good.
You know, health-wise.
Yeah. I know you were in the hospital and things were, you know, just kind of down for you, but I'm glad to know that you are better.
Yeah, I have a good support system.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yes, sir.
That's a great thing. That's a great thing. Man, I don't even know where to start. I remember when I first met you, Footie, we were at the first steel guitar convention, Sacred Steel Convention. I think we were in Sanford. Was it Sanford, Florida?
Yes, sir.
Sanford, Florida. And man, this guy came down. I think I can't even I can't even remember what you had on. But all I know is this dude got on the steel. Jay Caver was on guitar with you. It was a wrap. It was a wrap. So Footie has a style of playing, you know, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But you have a style, man, that is just so your own. But your personality was just you were just the coolest cat, man. And we just started. You know, I met you, and it was almost as if we knew each other.
Yeah.
But man, it was such a real moment, because we hear so many different players and we all sound different, but you bring so much pizzazz, man, to the instrument, and with your personality when we first met, again, you were real cool, you were real laid back, real quiet, didn't say too much, but real when scared. You got on the guitar, that's just you. But when you got on the guitar, it was a wrap.
Man. Yeah, I was nervous, man. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how it goes. I was just used to just playing only in the church. Mm-hmm. So when I got there, I was like paranoid.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, dude, you couldn't hear a sound. Even when you listen to the recording, I think it was the first song that you did. I can't remember the name of it.
Lord Lift Us Up.
Lord Lift Us Up. When you played that song, you couldn't hear pin drop. But what was interesting is if you could discern the people that were in the room, they were trying to figure out what song is this that he's playing. Because you played the whole intro, you played the whole song. And it was like, but when you came out and you played the actual chorus, it was just like, wow. And you had the room, man.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You had the room. And I remember that moment because all of us, we were so, it was kind of, we've heard the sound, but man, you have a way about you.
Oh,
you have a way about you, man. But we, that same convention, you came out with the jam. And after playing, I think Jesus is the Best Thing. And I don't think anybody ever forgot it, when you did when you did Pink Panther.
Yeah.
That was another moment. Talk about that moment, man. I know you were nervous, but you killed it.
I just came up with that the night before.
Really?
Yeah, I was playing around I was in the hotel with I was in the room with Jay.
Okay.
And it was Derek. So we were sitting there. Yeah.
Wow.
We were sitting there and we were playing around and I was joking around and I did it. And I said, Jay, do this, So Jay started playing the guitar and I just messed around, but we laughed at it. I didn't intend on playing that,
Okay.
It just came to me that night. But then when we went to the showcase, we just went right into it, and I was like, oh, okay. I didn't have, because I went there and I didn't have a lineup. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know, because when I got there, everybody had like bands, like complete bands. They knew when to break, when not to break, and whatever. And it was just me, and then thank God Jay was there. And I was like, okay, bro, this is all I got. Let's go, So that's how it went. And
you rolled with it, man. You and Jay, shout out to Jay Caver, man. He rolled out with you, man.
Absolutely, man. That's my guy.
Yeah. Jay was another one that I met along the way. And it's so funny. We'll be talking Derek, because that's how I met Jay Caver, through Derek.
Yeah.
Through Derek Campbell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then he would be there with you all rehearsing the night before as you break out with something that was just it shut the whole room down. I don't think nobody wanted to get on after that,
man. Man, I was just glad to get up. I was glad it was over after that.
Look, whatever, man. We wanted you to keep going, so, and I think you did for a little bit, but it was phenomenal, man. And that was my first experience hearing you. Shout out to Dale Hines, who remembers that as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. We didn't want you to stop, man. We wanted you to keep going. And what was so interesting, after that moment, it was such a connection for the people that didn't know you to the people who were just being introduced to you.
Right. Yeah.
All of a sudden now it's like, man, who is this guy Footie? you know.
That's what's up.
Man, so tell us, Footie, man, about, and we're going to get into the album, but how did this whole thing start for you, playing and getting on the steel guitar?
Oh, wow. It started with me hearing, I got to say, the first person I really paid attention to was Kim Love.
Wow.
Yeah. I was really young. We were at Philly Band Number 2.
Okay.
And Kim Love, she was the woman. She was the steel player for me. And then I started, after her, I started listening to Bishop Harrison down in the Assemblies. Mm-hmm. So I saw the effects that they had as far as like affecting the atmosphere at the church. Mm-hmm. And I wanted that. And the instrument was just so unique. And I was like, I want to play that, you know? So I think I was around 7 when I got my first steel.
Okay.
And I had asked people to, you know, like, yo, show me, you know, they showed me how to hold a bar, you know, they showed me, you know, about tuning or whatever, you know, but then it came a period where they didn't want to take up the time to actually show me anything else. You know, it was like, oh, okay. So I ended up just listening, going to church and listening to music. And I would learn how to mimic it with my mouth. Wow. And I would carry that all the way home to my steel. And I would spend that week playing what I heard. So that's how my ear developed.
Wow.
And I've been playing that way ever since. If I can hear it, I can play it.
You can play it. Wow. Yeah. It's so interesting that you would mention Kim Love McClendon. I just met her this past year. We've been knowing each other, and I've been listening to her. I feel like I've been knowing her for years because of how long I've been listening to her. Just never had a chance to meet her until this past year. But we've been in contact with each other over the years. That I would meet her virtually during the pandemic. But it's so funny you would mention her because she is a wealth of wisdom, man. She's a wealth of talent. Yeah. And just talking to her, being with her just this past summit and her coming down, blessing us tremendously on guitar and steel was just amazing. But to be with her, to experience her and how she progresses and thinks, and man, that I can see that. I can see how you were influenced.
Yeah. There was another influence. I can't leave him out. Robert, yes. Yeah, you know, he was the one who, listening to him, I could hear and I noticed the creativity. Mm-hmm. Like he was very unique. And then he also had speed, you know, but his approach to music is what really lit me up. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And that was around 86, 87 when we merged churches. Mm-hmm. And he began to play the steel more often, and Kim just really stuck to the guitar most of the time. Okay. And Rob was just taking it and was just taking songs and like blowing my mind, you know. So he really inspired me with the creative level.
Right. Yeah, Rob is that he's that guy. My dear brother Musta Kim. He's that guy. He's that guy. We keep in contact and man, he's brilliant.
Yes, he is.
He's anointed. He's brilliant. He's creative, and I think that was a spark for me. Glenn Lee, when he was living, and you know Glenn, when his days when he was with Bishop Manning. Yeah. But Glenn was a big influence because he was a multi-instrumentalist and he played keys as well. Glenn gave me my first dosage. Along with my grandmother, because my grandmother had friends in Deerfield of the Jewel Dominion Sound. Okay. And whenever there was an assembly, I would always, and I heard Bishop Harrison, I just didn't know or meet him. You know, I heard him. Nice. Just didn't know, you know, it was like, you know, amazing. And my grandmother, they would always stay with my grandmother when the assembly was there. And when she would go to the West Coast of Florida, Bradenton, Sarasota area, she would always stay with them. Mm-hmm. But they gave me my first sound of that Jewel Dominion sound. And when I heard Bishop Harrison, when I heard Ronnie and Kim and Mustakim and so many of Gammy, I was just taken back, man. Like like, what is this? And it pushed me to be more creative. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And I can see that even with you, because when I hear you play, it's such creativity coming out. You know. So shout out to Zion Mosey, man. He said, "Yeah, man, that whole joint is crazy."
Oh, what's up, Zion?
So, but listen, man, we see how you started. We see where everything evolved from you, and where you started playing. So, when did you get comfortable enough to really start playing in church?
I was playing before I was comfortable.
Really?
Yeah. I was playing. I was the next steel player after Robert in Philadelphia. Wow. You know, so those are shoes that were big to fill. You know, and Rob would come, but then sometimes he would come late, or he wouldn't come at all. You know, and then sometimes I didn't mind playing as long as he wasn't there. But when he showed up, it was like the congregation didn't want to hear me. The other musicians I was playing with wanted me to get up. You know, Rob showed up. It was like, "Yo, get up and let Rob play. Why don't you get up? We want to rock." You know.
Wow.
But, it was hurtful, but
yeah.
At the same time, I was like, "So what? I don't care. I get up." I was a young bull. You know. I was like, "I don't care. I don't even want to play." You know.
Right.
But Rob, I remember one time in particular, I was asked to get up by other musicians that I was playing with, but he came in. It was a New Year's service. He came in and it was like, come on, Rob. He walked over there and he looked and he just like, I was getting up and he was like, "No, I want to play with Footie." So he grabbed the guitar. First time my man Rob actually played together. Like with him on the guitar. And it was that's what put me on the map for real.
Wow.
So I got comfortable after that New Year service. We rocked all night long. Got the video to prove it.
I bet. That has to be a classic, man.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. You know, it's moments like that you don't forget.
Right.
So what did that do for you inside? Because you admired him.
It pretty much validated me, because if I be honest, growing up in the church sector, you know, as a musician, sometimes it can become so political. Sometimes it becomes so political, and it's all in who you know, it's all in the bloodline, and you know, people have their picks and whatnot, if you know. But what it done for me is it validated me. It made me feel like, you know, okay, I've arrived. Like I'm accepted as a musician. You know, so that kind of validated my musicianship. You know, and I was like, okay, I can do it. I can do it now. Because at first I was willing to walk away from it.
Man.
It was because it was that hard for me growing up in Philly. Philly is crazy.
I heard. So Musta Kim and Kim, when we talked, they talked about that. That was a tough room.
Yeah, Philly's crazy.
That was a tough. You're right. Yeah. So to hear you talk about it, and you were younger, you know, that just validates what they were saying.
Yeah, it's like Philly wanted what they want. You know, they still do, you know, but at the end of the day, Philly was a different kind of church, you know, because remember, we merged churches back after Bishop Randall died. After he passed, we merged churches, and it was like fighting and out in the church, outside the church, you know. But as a musician, you know, our job is to enhance, you know, the service, and we had to become creative. We had to be spiritual. We had to be attentive. We had to be sensitive to the atmosphere, you know, so that we can play devils out of people, you know what I mean, and out of each other. And that's how we ended up becoming like a rock zone, where we just rocked all the time, because we had to play in a manner where you was actually cleaning the atmosphere, like ministering to the needs of people. And that's how I came up.
Real time.
Yeah.
Real time. And that I think that gives more validity to Saul and David. You know? Yeah. You know, right. And that, because that's really what it's about, you know.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very interesting, but it's very real. But I get it. Right. I so get it. Shout out to AJ, who said she just downloaded the album. She's listening to it now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, man.
Thanks,
yes,
AJ.
sir. That's what's up. That's what I like to hear.
Yes,
Lisa
sir.
Marks, thank you for being with
Lisa.
us. Yes, Chris Pope, amazing drummer, amazing album.
Yeah.
So this is the validation. You all, if you haven't gotten the album, if you haven't downloaded it, I want to encourage you all. Listen, this is it right here. It's on the screen. Rise of the Panther. Go stream it. As soon as we're done with this post, if you don't want to wait, stream it now. Download it, buy it. You're supporting such an amazing artist. And my guest here on today, Reggie Footie Covington.
Yes,
man, first of all, let me say this before we even get into the album and just the whole production. Talking about what you just stated in how we play and why we play, and even to the spectrum of sometimes we are literally playing those evil spirits out. It gives more purpose to what we do and why we do.
Yes, sir.
Would you say the same?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the things I'd like to say is that today's musicians, I think it would be only right to make it clear that there's a distinct difference between showcasing and playing in church.
Good morning.
Showcasing, you show your talent, whatever, and that's cool. But in a church setting, you have to be saved. You got to be, and you have to be anointed. You got to be sensitive to the atmosphere. You got to pay attention to the pastor. You got to pay attention to the congregation as well.
Say that again.
So it's a lot of facets that we have to have as spiritual musicians, especially in a church setting, in order to break the film of the atmosphere. We got to be anointed to do that. So
That's
that
right.
you'll know whether or not sometimes the congregation can push you into doing something you're not ready to do, or the atmosphere is not calling for. Some people are just ready to jam all day. But then sometimes this atmosphere may be calling for the spirit of worship, you know, and you got to know when to do what to do, because you can know all the tunes you want to know, but timing is everything.
Yes, it is.
It can be the same tune you played last week or the same tune someone else played, but if you play it out of timing, it'll be a waste.
Wow. Y'all getting it right here. My guest, again, Reggie Footie Covington, he is dropping nuggets already. I don't know if y'all listening or not. And for my dear musicians, if you're live here, I dare you to like and share this post, especially share it with an aspiring musician. Reggie is already dropping nuggets on this podcast of the day. Shout out to Choppy, who said, yes, you must be born again.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. He said preach. He said preach, preacher.
Yes, sir.
Man, and shout out again to Dale Hines. He said, hey, Rob Postel killed at Spring Assembly 1992, Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh yeah.
Under Bishop Dr. Nate N.A. Manning.
Yes,
classic service indeed. Yeah, I think we all had that tape.
Oh yeah.
That is a classic. That is a classic. But man, you really are dropping some nuggets, and I think that's some good stuff. And man, it's worth for those that are just joining to go back and just listen to what was previously said by Footie relating to church musicians and how we should present ourselves as we go forth in ministry, because there is a difference between showcasing your talent and playing under the anointing in church.
Absolutely.
It's night and day.
Yes,
it
sir.
is night and day, man. Thank you for that. So I want to jump into the album, if you will. I want to talk about the album, man. You pulled no stops. You let it go.
Yes,
with every single track. And for those of you all that have not heard it, if you have not listened to it, again, we're talking about Rise of the Panther, Reggie Footie Covington. That's the album cover. You all want to go check it out, stream it. I mean, rock it all weekend. As you cleaning the house, as you doing whatever, you got a salon, rock this album. I promise you.
Yes, sir.
You held nothing. You held nothing back on this. What was the approach? What was the thought process going into recording? Why did you want to record and now?
Okay. First, since I've been a pastor, I don't play as much at church. But I knew that because I spent more time preaching and you're just pastoring the whole nine. And so I have my nephew. I'm the real uncle, RJ. RJ. You know, many people call him nephew, but he's my real nephew. You know, okay. But he's my musician, my minister of music, my keyboard player. So he was been holding down services for me.
Wow.
But I kept hearing people saying like, don't quit. And I was like, they don't know I haven't quit. You know, I just wasn't playing in church services, but
right.
I always had my gift with me, you know, and the steel with me, my instrument. But then I started hearing more and more people say he hasn't played, he don't play anymore. And I was like, no, I'm still in it. I'm still at it.
Right.
But then some of the people that I would speak to, they stopped me in the year 2000 where they felt like I didn't have anything else since the Pink Panther in the year 2000.
Right.
You know, so I was like, no, I'm still here. Like, I'm not washed up, you know.
Right.
But, so at first I was just going to ignore it. And then I was like, no, there's so much in me. And then what happened was I started getting sick. And as I was getting sick, you know, with diabetes and whatnot, high blood pressure, my life is being threatened. And I said to myself, I don't want to leave here without leaving a legacy. Like, I may never hit the main stage, but that's not even what I'm pursuing. But I want to share what's in me.
Right.
I just want to share that with the people, you know. Right. And I talked to my nephew, and he said, "Come on." And then I kept procrastinating, and then he kept jumping on me.
Right.
Come on, you know, come on, Doc.
Right,
so
right.
I was like, you know what, you're right. Let's go.
Okay.
So we went and just decided to record. And what I decided to record, I was getting bored with some of the tunes that we were playing, you know, because we've been playing them the same way since 1991, 1992, you know, and it's been the same lineup, the same way it's been played, you know. And I was like, okay, now at some point, you know, it has to evolve into something else, you know. So, you know, so that's why I decided to record.
Wow. Well, man, listen, we're glad you did it. We're glad you did it. The interesting thing, man, I know I was talking to you at one point. I don't even know if you remember those conversations. I was like, man, Footie, you need to put some stuff out, man.
Yeah.
Whatever you need to do, man, I'll help you. Like, let's just put it out. But it's amazing because I think we all have something. We all have a blueprint. We all have something that we, you know, uniquely, everyone has a different fingerprint. No one has the same print. And when we think about our gift, and this is for, you know, my artists, aspiring musicians, singers, you name it, whoever, whether you're creative, painter, whatever, there's something unique about you that somebody's waiting on.
Yeah,
and if you hold on to it, you're actually minimizing the people, or you're actually holding back your blessing for the people that you've yet to meet. Because with your product not being out, it's almost like you're hoarding what God is trying to expose, right? And in your gift. And I learned that. I'm preaching to the choir because I had to learn that myself.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes we're holding on to things that we need to let go and expose so that God can introduce us to people that we never knew that were waiting on us.
Yeah.
Like people are waiting on you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, you know, sometimes what can hold you back is fear. Fear of the unknown, you know. And I spoke earlier about the political ways in the musician corner of the church, you know. And for so long, like, if you're not careful, if you're not part of that in crowd, if you're not careful, people will make you feel like you're not good enough.
Yeah.
You know, and so they'll reach all around you and get everybody else, and then it's never you. And
Right.
I was even told across the pulpit at one point that Footie is just not your season. But the crazy thing was, it was my season everywhere else except the church.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was kind of like making me think less of myself, you know, and it took a lot of encouragement, you know. So then it made me get to a point, even when I went to the Sacred Steel in Florida, it made me feel like I want to play, but I'm scared to play because what if they don't like me? They're not going to like it because I'm unique. I sound different. I don't sound like everybody else. They're not going to like this, you know. So that's the way I used to view myself. But thank God for maturity.
Yeah. Come on.
So I've matured, and I understand now that, you know, in life, everybody's not going to like you anyway. You know what I mean? There's always going to be somebody who, different strokes for different folks.
Come on.
So I just appreciate what's in me, and I'm willing to share it. However it comes out, that's what it is. That's what God gave me.
And that you know, that, and that kind of puts it in perspective, man. And you just said it. And you know, it's something to be said about that corner.
Yeah.
Since we in this vein, because people don't realize it's a thing.
Yeah, it is.
It's a thing. So I'll
there's a lot that goes on in the corner that the church don't know, that the people don't know.
They really don't
know. You in the corner. Yeah.
You know, that's a book. That's a whole book, because there's so much, and as men, we you know, a lot of people think, you know, man up, or, you know, why you hurt.
Right.
We're human.
Right.
We are human, and listen, the church is one of those places, and I expose it all the time, especially when I hear something great coming from the pulpit. I expose that because I love that, because most times you hear the critics, you hear the criticisms, and you never hear the uplifts, you never hear the encouragement, and that's the stuff I expose, because to me that's important. But they don't know what it is to feel crushed, to be utterly embarrassed. From the pulpit. You know, and I'm talking from the higher ranking people. You know, in the that is crushing.
Yes, sir.
It's crushing, and then as a musician in the corner, the guys that are trying to fit in, as you stated, you want to belong, but then you feel like you don't, because you know. Who gonna play with me? Right. You know, and I'm glad you told. And I know we're helping somebody right now. We're having the dialogue, but I know we're helping somebody.
Yes, sir.
Because somebody is dealing with this and going through this in some type of way. And I think this is a open conversation that I hope sparks more conversations. With others, to really be honest in how we see ourselves and what we're doing with those people that are actually looking up to us, or the people that are under you, or the people that are in your circle. Like, are y'all really ostracizing your brother or your sister? You know, making them feel like nothing.
Right.
So right. We need to talk about it. I can't think of her name. I posted her clip. I thought it was so powerful. She was in Dallas, Texas. I don't know why I can't call her name. She was in Dallas, Texas, and she was ministering, and you could tell she was in the spirit. She immediately looked over to the musicians, and she began to utter a word of thanks to them for sticking with her while she was transitioning during the service.
Nice.
And she went, you know, she just went biblical. She just went scripture and just started uttering just uplifting things. Like I encourage everybody. It's on my feed on my Facebook page. Look at it. It's about a 5-minute clip.
Okay.
It's gonna bless you.
Introducing Affirm It, the heart and soul of Dante's Harmony, a project designed to rewire your subconscious mind with daily affirmations that breathe positivity into your life. Available for purchase on iTunes and Amazon and streaming across all digital platforms. Affirm It is your daily dose of inspiration, making each day a canvas of potential. But why stop there? Elevate your affirmation journey with our exclusive line of merchandise. From journals to pillows, mugs to coasters, each piece is a reminder of your commitment to positivity and growth. Visit dantesharmony.com to discover more and join Dante's Harmony community. Embrace the power of positivity words and make them a part of your everyday. With Dante's Harmony and Affirm It, transform your mindset, your day, and ultimately your life.
Yes, sir.
It's going to bless you. But I think this is a great conversation to have, because a lot of guys, Footie, they're not open to even dialogue about what you just talked about.
Yes, sir.
We keep it hush. You know, we make it a corner thing. We make it a music corner thing.
It stays in the corner.
It stays in the corner. And I think we're in a place now where they, you know, and I'm grateful for the platform that God has given me with this podcast.
Yes,
but
sir.
I'm in a place now where the things that we've been quiet about long enough, it's time for us to start having conversations around it.
Yes, sir.
Because it needs to be talked about.
Absolutely.
How we do, how we talk, how we treat, you know, people. I remember going into other places as a piano player, as a keyboard player, and in their world, coming from my world, okay, it's night and day.
Yeah,
it's night and day. So I was a novice.
Okay.
These guys were playing albums.
Right. I got you. Yeah.
I'm playing. I'm okay. They have me on with them, but I'm like, I'm a novice in their world, and it was let me tell you, it was the most intimidating thing I ever experienced, because I've seen these guys and it sounds like I'm listening to the record.
Right.
With them playing keyboard, right? Playing organ. And I know I'm multi-dimensional, but it was just like I couldn't fathom what you know what they were doing. And it was just at some point I was just like, okay, I can't hang.
Wow. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it made me go study.
Yep.
I found God bless RJ, who's back in New York. He's in Buffalo, New York. RJ was a premier organist, man, and he took me under his wings and just showed me the ropes. And this guy was he said, Dante, he said, I heard you since day one when you came and started playing with it. He said, you a jewel, you a diamond. He said you just needed somebody to mentor you and show you little things and this and that. And I was just, dude, I was humbled. But I was at a place though where I didn't, like I see a lot of musicians do. They get really, I'm the man, and they buck up like, yeah. Nah, I kind of laid back, and I had to learn, and I wanted to learn, and it wasn't until I seized opportunities.
Right.
You talked about something earlier. You said when you're showcasing your talent, and when you're playing under the anointing, when you're playing in church, it's two different worlds.
Yes, sir.
And there are a lot of musicians, when they played, I noticed that they were showcasing their talent.
Yeah.
And a moment hit in a service that they didn't feel. I started playing, and it took off because I understood what you said.
Yep.
In a moment where these guys were showcasing their talent.
Yeah.
And I understood what it was to follow the leader, play under the anointing, follow the oil of the service, follow the flow of the service. Understand what that nuance looks like.
Yeah.
Thank you, Del Ray Grace,
hey, Del.
Who's on. It was Pastor T. Renee Glenn. I don't know why I couldn't think of her name. But go check out the clip. It's on my page. It's a 5-minute clip that she did. Man, it blessed me. It really, really, really blessed me. And Dale says your music can go places and travel farther than you've ever been able to, and that is so true.
It is. Yes,
that is so true, man. So true.
Wow.
I know we kind of got off the album for a second, but I'm glad we kind of took that detour because I think we need to talk about that, man.
Before we go back to the album, you mentioned we were still talking about the spirit, playing in the spirit versus showcasing. And one of the things that I noticed that musicians today have, or that they do, is they use the church as a place to showcase. And when you do that, like I come up in an era where if you were a musician and if you were in that corner, it was about teamwork. There was no one there trying to be the star. You couldn't have one star. And you remember the era where, sometimes the drummer would get a taste. Everybody fall back, let the drummer do what he does. You let the guitar player do what they do, but it's all about teamwork. You're supposed to play together as a team. And until the people, the musicians, current day musicians, understand that, we're always going to have a lot of hiccups in church. And then you'll have isolated moments of jam sessions where it was just tunes and no changes. Like no one has been changed. No one has been edified. No one has a change of heart.
Right.
The spirit hasn't touched anyone. We just had a good time, a good jam set. We shouted because we liked the tune. Because we it's all about tune. Play my tune, I'ma shout, But in the church setting, it's about being saved, being changed, knowing who God is. And you can only do that when you work together as a team.
Right. That's so important. That's so important. And for those of you all that are listening, I'm here with my guest. I'm gonna put what Belinda just typed on the screen with Reggie Footie Covington, the GOAT. Yes, sir. Belinda, thank you for tuning in with us on today. But yes, politely put, man, listen, Reggie Footie is dropping some wisdom. He's dropping some nuggets. We're gonna get back into talking about the album, but man, I just think these music corner conversations really need to be had. Because they are very important. There are a lot of musicians who've left and have gone other places because of that.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I do agree. And never to return.
Never to return. It's real, and we have to really, really we got to face those things. We got to really deal with that kind of stuff. And Sanj, thank you for tuning in, Sanja. She said using the church to showcase. It's the truth. Yeah. It's such the truth, and there's certain things it's just not. We really have to be careful how and what we're doing. Yeah. So, man, the album. So I'm listening to the tracks. I'm listening to the jams. I'm listening to your approach to it, production wise. How did you work that out? I noticed you have your nephew with you. How did that work out? Did you have moments where you guys were spontaneous in the studio? How did it come to be?
Honestly, every track was spontaneous.
Wow.
It was never rehearsed. It was sit down, let's play. Like one of the tracks that's up there is He's Real.
Okay.
And that was a warm-up. We were just testing the volumes.
Wow.
And we hit record, and I listened to it after the fact, and I was like, just keep it, and everything else was raw. It was raw. It was, because the way I play what I feel. I play how I feel. So if I play it again, it may not be that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was all raw. It was like just sit down, plug up, and my nephew would be like, I'm hit record. I'm like, well, hit it, and whatever happens, happens. And it was done like really quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
You can tell the authenticity of the album and how you can feel it. You can feel it through the sound and the spontaneity of a lot of stuff that you were hitting. What's your? Let me see. How many tracks do you have on?
I think 10.
Yeah, there are 10 tracks. What were your what? Give me your top 3.
I like He's Real.
Okay.
I like Let's Go, which is really I like that one. And I don't know. I think that's about it.
Okay.
Oh,
listen,
no, I like the release. I like the release.
The release. That's mine. I love that one.
Yeah.
I love that. Now that's the one that you came out with the single.
Yes, sir.
You came out with the single with that, and I knew after hearing that, I said, "Oh boy, you're gonna put out some stuff." Because when you put that single out, I was playing that all day.
Wow,
that was
I was going through one of the hardest times of my life.
Really,
and once I was cleared and everything was good, and I just said, we went and played and just came up with that. And I said, I'm gonna call release. We're gonna call this one the release, because I was released from the bondage, the thing that was holding me captive, and for like 4 years, I felt like I was paralyzed. I couldn't move. I couldn't think. I was almost depressed. I was fighting depression. I was super sad. I wasn't suicidal, but I didn't care about life at the time, if I be honest. It was like, if I live, I live. If I don't, I don't. But I'm telling you, the Lord pulled me all the way through it. And when he did, man, I just said thanks. And I was like, let's go. Now I want to work. Let's go to work. Yeah.
Amazing. And I hope that encouraged somebody, man. You don't know what people deal with and go through, but that talent, that gift that you have and that you're holding on to, there's a release that comes, when we start to progress in the very thing that God gave us to do. And man, what an amazing thing that you would play yourself out of that. That's powerful.
I learned that at an early age, that my instrument really was my outlet. Some people do a lot of talking to other people, and the way I dig myself out of holes and ruts, I quickly, if I have my steel, I'll sit there and I'll play what I feel. That's how it comes out. If I'm sad, you can tell by listening to it, Right. If I'm coming out of it, you can hear that too, but that's my instrument is my outlet.
Man, amazing. Thank you, Brenda Wolford, who's tuning in, and she says she enjoys us both. We enjoy. Thank you for tuning. I met Brenda just this past summer at the youth assembly, Young People's Assembly here in Atlanta, and we've been
I saw you dancing.
Talking. Say again.
I saw you dancing.
Listen, man. I'm over in the corner, holding it down on keys, and man, these young guys were playing, and anybody that was in that room, when the word, the songs that were being ministered, and just the oil of the service was going on, man, I couldn't hold my seat.
I hear you.
I could not hold my seat, man.
Yes, sir.
It was all that, and it was such a great time, and I was able to see Ronnie. I heard Zion for the first time.
Yeah.
Just met a whole slew of musicians.
Kevin Martin.
Kevin, oh my goodness. Yeah. That guy. And then Coney.
Jabaz?
Man, listen.
He's crazy. Yeah.
On the guitar?
Jabaz is crazy. Yeah.
I was like, this is like Curtis reunited or reinvented.
Right.
It's like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah.
And man, it was that. It was all that. These guys are just amazing. And then I got a chance to talk with Ronnie. We got a little time to spend some time together. And it was great, man. We just fellowshipped, and it was just good seeing everybody and even seeing some for the first time and just connecting. But yeah, man, it was amazing.
Yes,
that was amazing. Yes, so thank you all for tuning in. My dear brother Tion, he said he held it for 2 nights, then finally released. You're right, Tion. Man, we had such a good time. So there are a lot of when I was listening to the album, I'm listening to as you guys heard, his approach was just being spontaneous and in a moment in recording. In doing that, you had you want to talk about the musicians that you had on the project?
Yeah. It was myself.
Okay. Of course, on steel.
And my nephew, Scooter. I don't know, y'all know about RJ?
We know about RJ.
Yeah. I used to be hard on that kid, you know what I mean? But it was him. He's the genius. He's production. He'll throw bass on. It's just me and him, steel and guitar, and he'll throw bass on. He'll throw anything that he needs to do. You know what I mean? He'll do drum kick if he want. Mm-hmm. There's another guy, Vince, who's a bass player. He was on a couple of the tracks. He lives in Maryland. He's amazing, but that's all it was. I didn't have us really just raw. Let's do what we do.
Right.
Yeah, and that was it. Yeah. Man. So big shout out to my nephew, man. He's amazing. He's super proud of him, man.
Super talented.
Yeah.
I think I met RJ here. I think he came down to one of the revivals to Atlanta with you.
Yeah.
Because I met him for the first time. Mm-hmm. And he was playing keys then. I don't know if I heard him on guitar, but I know I did hear him on keys.
Yeah, no, he wasn't doing guitar at the time.
Really?
Nah.
Wow.
But he's anointed. He's gifted, man.
He is.
Any instrument he pick up, he just goes for it. Like, he's amazing.
He is.
God has really blessed him. I'm glad to have him in my corner.
Listen, man. One man band, man. He's phenomenal. Yeah. So he's really, instrumental with the production and things on the album along with yourself.
Yes, sir. But he had to learn. He had to learn me. He had to learn my spirit, learn what I wanted, learn how I flow. Because just because you can play don't mean you can play with everybody.
Right.
So you have to learn how people the flow of the other musicians and whatnot.
That's right.
And it didn't take him too long, but he kept digging at it until now. If he sit down, like right now, if I'm playing something, he'll just flow with me easily. Because he knows how I operate, how I function, and how I flow. And I think that's really important to know, especially when you play with the same person over and over, whether you're in church or in the studio. Right. You can't sound like you're playing two different things. It has to mesh together.
That's right.
That's him for me.
He's been dropping wisdom nuggets you all throughout the whole broadcast. So man, listen, if you have not heard the album, again, this is the title, Rise of the Panther. Reggie Footie Covington. Go stream it, go download it, support my dear brother. Where did you come up with the title?
People thought I was dead. They thought I was finished. They thought I was washed. They were like, "Oh, he's not playing. He'll never play again," or "I haven't heard nothing in 10 years," and all this. But
so that's how
it's time for me to get up. So then I was like, a lot of people know me from the Pink Panther, so I was like, let's just do Rise of the Panther. Rise of the Panther. It's time to rise. So we worked on the picture. My nephew helped me do that as well.
There's a lot of imagery in there.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that, man? This is some really cool stuff. Come on, talk about it, man. That's some cool.
So I had a concept where I just wanted, since we're talking about a rise of the Panther, I felt like people felt I was gone. You know what I mean? And then, so I was like, give me a cemetery. So we started searching, looking for a cemetery. I wanted tombstones and all,
Right.
And then I was going to have a Pink Panther in it, but then I had a photo shoot last year.
Okay.
And I still had this picture I hadn't used. And I was like, yo, what can you do with this?
Okay.
And then he took it and did what he did with it. And it turned out amazing, and I was like, let's keep it.
I love it. I love it. This is, listen, you all, this is creativity. This is imagination in rare form. This is how you put your stuff out. I love it.
Yes, sir.
I love it. I love it. When I looked at it, I was like, man, this imagery. I was so excited to talk with you, to talk about that, because there's so much creativity on the album and even on the cover, you know, in how you shaped that rise of the Panther in imagery and in picture. And showing, you know, how the release, you know, rising from this place, this dark place.
Right.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful. And I, you know, to all you rising, established or musicians, artists, be creative, be you. You know, that's one of my things. Be you. Everyone else is taken. Be you.
Right. And you can easily do that if you develop a foundation.
Come on.
You got to have foundation. A lot of times people, I notice a lot of steel players now, they just want to learn like the licks and the speed, and, you know, so we'll pick through a whole service, you know, but after you get finished shouting, you got to have something to fall back on. You know what I mean? You got to have foundation, and foundation is something which we consider to be basics. And most musicians now think that's boring and old school, but that's necessary. That's necessary for you to be well-rounded, to be able to play a complete service, because you may not jam all night long. You know what I mean?
That's
so when someone breaks out with a song, you got to know how to play in different keys. You got to like study your craft, like make sure that you're well-rounded, and don't be afraid of what we consider old school. Get the foundation, learn how to fram, learn how to chord, learn how to, you know what I mean? Learn what strings do what. Learn how to let some strings echo and ring. You know what I mean? It's a technique to this thing, you know. You know, learn how to scream. Learn how to make your scream last longer. Learn how to cut it short, you know. Learn what to do with the pedal, because the pedal also should be secondary. It should be not anything you have to think about. You shouldn't have to focus on whether I go down on the pedal or not. It should come like second nature. Without a second thought, you know. So if you got to study and think about, am I going down on the pedal? You're not ready yet, you know. But be careful of just learning tunes, because you need number one, in the church setting, you need to know how to build up to that.
Right.
And you need the foundation to build up to that. And then you need a cool down, which is still the foundation. That's right. Know? So just wanted to leave that as well.
You dropping nuggets, man. You are dropping nuggets. I don't want to stop you, man. You are giving out some great information. Now your go-to pedal, still your Morley?
It was. It's not anymore. It's a Morley, but it's not the big body 70s Morley anymore. I have a few of those, but it's hard to keep those with the oil in it, and you know, it's hard to find people that can work on them, and you know, and I don't want to be a one-hit wonder where, you know, I can't function without it, you know. So I still have a Morley, but I got a better one. I got one with a board that has everything that I need in it, you know what I mean? Everything that I would want, because I'm not really known for using a bunch of gadgets. You know, that stuff. I just want to plug up and go. You know what I mean? So the way I play sometimes will look harder and be harder than what somebody with gadgets play, because I've learned how to get the same sound just doing a different technique. You know what I mean? So so I still have Morley, but you know, that's it.
Come on. Expansion is necessary sometimes. Getting, you know, evolving into something that's even greater and better, and reinventing your own sound. That's amazing.
Yes, sir.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Man, I want to, and we're going to talk about one more thing, and then I'm going to let you go. Thank everybody that's actually joined in. Listen, Marcus Randolph just called you out, man. Yes, Marcus. He said he wouldn't even play at the pop-up shit. Marcus, we love you, man. We love you. Yeah, man. Marcus is another instrumental cat, man, that he's doing a lot of things, a lot of the sheds to help evolve a lot of young musicians. And proud of the stuff that he's doing. And I'm sure you were able to, I'm sure he's talking about you because you came.
He is. I did go. Yeah. See, normally I don't go anywhere. People know that, Footie don't really go anywhere, but I was trying to come out of my shell, and I was like, you know what? I need to hang around musicians. I need to go back and hang around them, So when he invited me, like, I was honored, and I was like, I just want to be in the place. I want to be in the number. I want to sit around, sit among them, talk a little bit, It wasn't so much I wanted to play, but plus I didn't have my instrument with me, but I just wanted to be around everybody, and it felt good. It felt like a place that I belonged. I was like, I belong here,
Yep. and let me tell you, quiet is kept. And Marcus, if Marcus is still on here, he'll validate. But there are a lot of guys that I know from the Keith side that just, man, they love you. They love your sound. They love your tunes. They just love the way you play and the excellence that you play in. Chuck Campbell, Chuck was so he was so vocal when I was interviewing the Campbell brothers.
Yes, he was.
So you were there, you saw it when I was interviewing them on their new album, Innova, and he was just, man, he said, Footie got it. I can't wait to hear Footie's album, but listen, man, quiet is kept, man. You've really made an impact on a lot of musicians and a lot of players. You may not realize it, but you really have. You really have in a lot of ways. Again, for those of you all that are listening on YouTube, on Facebook, like and share this post. I am talking to the one and Footie Covington, who has just released not too long ago his new album, Rise of the Panther. I'm asking everybody, download it, make sure you're streaming it. It's gonna bless you. I promise you. If you not heard it, if you riding, pull it up. You won't go to sleep. You will not. It is a grooving album. You will absolutely adore every single track. My cousin here, Joe Randall, who was very influential on me, with me growing up as a young musician, as we were talking earlier about how it was in that music corner. Joe was one of those guys who he honed him and my father on bass as a kid when I was just playing drums, honing that discipline. A lot of what we don't get and you don't hear about today. They were, that was keen. My uncle, Anthony Harmon, the late great Anthony Harmon, he was that was something that they were keen on. You can do all that nice stuff, but man, stay in the pocket. You can showcase and do this when it's time, when the opportunity comes, but all in all, man, just stay in the zone, stay disciplined. That's what was hammered down with me, and I'm grateful.
That's also was I am as well. Disciplined. It was I was disciplined well, but that's what's missing in a lot of churches now. Disciplined musicians, they're not disciplined, and that's why they'll fly. They'll fly the coop. They'll be done. You can't really correct them. You can't, you can't say anything. You can't even say turn it down.
Listen.
It's a rap. You're like, yo, too loud. It's a rap. But we got to be disciplined. And when you get to a place as a musician where you're unteachable and no one can tell you anything, that's a bad spot to be in.
It is a very bad spot.
As a musician evolving, you have to always be open and learning. And, you may be faster than the older guy. You know what I mean? You may have, updated chords and whatnot. But trust me, the people you're playing with, they've been through some stuff. They know some stuff that you don't know.
That's right.
What I mean? So you got to use wisdom and just take it, just take it on the chin and just keep moving,
Come on.
Hey, can I give a shout out to
please,
Del Rey and Kelly?
Absolutely.
They inducted me into the Sacred Steel Hall of Fame, and I didn't want this night to go by without acknowledging them. It's so crazy because me being a musician for as long as I've been, since I was 7, I felt like I should have been inducted in the Hall of Fame. And it's crazy how God will show you and teach you humility. You know,
Wow.
and sometimes we think we deserve and should be. And, you know, when you feel that way, you know, you just got to take a back seat and just chill. Don't be too vocal about it. Don't say too much. You don't have to remind people who are, you know, your gift make room for you.
Come on.
You know what I mean? So, and it just happened like this year. I got the call, you know, and he was like, hey, I want to induct you in. But it came at a time when God was teaching me humility. You know what I mean? Sometimes we think we're humble in certain areas, and God will show you that no, you're not that humble yet. You know what I mean?
Come on.
So I'm glad I got it when I got it instead of when I thought I should have had it.
See?
If that makes sense.
Yep. Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes, it does. It makes all the sense in the world. Shout out to Delray Grace and Kelly. And you see, he said, "Thank you, brother. Love you, man. We love you,
sir.
Dale."
Yes, sir.
Dale has been, and he's doing some amazing things. I can't wait to get up to the Sacred Steel Museum, historical place that he has so put money, time, sweat, blood, tears into developing and preserving this tradition called Sacred Steel music,
right.
this genre of Sacred Steel music. Dale is doing, and Kelly, they are doing some very phenomenal things, and I'm excited. In less than 2 weeks, I'll be up that way, and I am intentionally going to go and get a chance to
Yes,
come
sir.
on, be a part of history.
Yes, sir.
I was so honored that he even had the Dante's Harmony podcast in there, and you know, as part of that, and it's an honor. It's just an honor to be able to make history and be a part of history. But Dale is that. He's that guy. They are those individuals that really make you feel like you do belong.
Yes, sir.
But it is your time, man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
It is your time. Corey Smith, shout out to Corey Smith, dear brother from Pensacola, Florida area. He big fan of yours.
Oh wow,
Footie, big fan of yours. So yeah, he loves the album and definitely, man, phenomenal steel player, drummer, man. I met Corey as a drummer back in the day, but Corey is a phenomenal pastoring now. Such a segue, yes, right. Nice. Such a segue. He's a pastor, and you were pastor. How is that? You know, I know you don't play as much as you used to, because you're in a different role. How is that for you now?
Pastoring is different. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of people think that I pastor because I'm carrying on my mom's vision, because my mother was a senior pastor, but I knew I was called to pastor. Mm-hmm. To preach and to pastor at a younger age. Wow. I just also knew I wasn't ready. You know, I was still a hothead. You know, I was a young bull, immature. You know what I mean? Right. Uncontrolled. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So,
if we're honest, we all were.
Right. So I was like, So when the Lord called me, I was like, "You want me to do this?" You know, but there's a vision that the Lord has given me, and it just so happened it actually enhances what my mother was doing. I served as her assistant pastor, and what God has given me takes the ministry to the next level, and it doesn't look like the average church. You know what I mean? Because what God has given me, you know, sometimes I feel like people won't understand where I am in ministry, because what He's given me is to really reach souls and to minister to the needs of people. Like I have this heart that's geared towards people being well, living a balanced life, and just knowing who God is. I want to represent Him properly and effectively. And sometimes it's not a song and a dance. Sometimes it's just, hey, let's go to dinner, let's hang out, let's have a rep session. Let me come to your house. You know, how are you doing? How's your family? You know. And so I'm more of a hands-on approach rather than just pastoring and going into a building to clap and sing songs all day, you shout and go home. No, I want to make sure everybody is okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
And has a platform to actually live and be well. You know what I mean? So that's the angle that God has given me. So most of the ministry I do is outside of the church, and most people that I pastor is not members. They're not members of the church. You know, they're like from state to state. You know, but you know.
Wow.
More of an outreach.
That's phenomenal. You know, that you give, when I was listening to you talk, that is shepherding personified.
Yes,
that is shepherding, you know, and you know, we don't hear it said that way, because pastoring is more of the terminology with the shepherding, man. That's exactly what that is, and that's great. That's great. It's funny how as musicians we make that that switch, that role, you know, into ministry and into pastoring, and you know, into that, you know, teaching. I remember teaching Sunday school at an age where most guys weren't even thinking about going to Sunday school or being taught. But I was always a student of the word.
Yes, sir.
I thought that was very, very important, even as a musician. And that's something that I
absolutely,
dude. Come on,
absolutely.
It enhances who you are as a musician.
Yeah. So, you know, I came up in an era where, you know, if you didn't make it to Bible study, you didn't make it to Sunday school, guess who wasn't playing? You were not playing on music.
Come on, say that again.
So you had to make it to the Bible studies and Sunday school, because if you didn't, pastor wouldn't let you play
at all.
You know, you want to play, number one, you work your way up. And it's so crazy that so many musicians have left, or doing other things. Everybody didn't die, you know, and didn't pass away, but there are people who just walked away. So now there are musicians who are fresh, who are just starting, and they got Sundays. They plan on Sundays. Like, no, we had to do Wednesday night, Friday night. You know, you had to work your way to Sunday. And Correct. This is why some of the Eagles are so huge, because they came out the gate on big days, undisciplined, not knowing how to be sensitive to the atmosphere, nor the passer. You know what I mean? So just whoever's listening, just be careful. Be careful with that. Be careful how you handle the gift, you know, and let the gift really make room for you. That's
man, this is so rich, man. You're saying some stuff, man, that needs to be said. Like for real, like you're making me think about my grandmother, and that's what it was. Like I couldn't do what I wanted to do.
No, you couldn't.
I couldn't come in and just like I don't think these talking. Let me just say this, Calvin Cook, God bless you, Calvin. If you listening, we love you, man. Yes, Calvin talked about setting up tents, Footie. Calvin talked to me about setting up tents when they were getting ready to, as he was traveling with the bishops and Bishop Jewel and you know, Bishop Keith. They were set as a musician. He's setting up tents.
Wow.
Right. as you know, to prepare the congregation. I mean, literally, this is Levitical. This is the Levites.
Yes, sir.
Come on, we going biblical here. That's what the Levites, you know, they literally, he literally was doing this before service began, and getting the atmosphere right, and all of that was how these guys honed us. My grandmother would not let me. I was at church on a Saturday cleaning benches.
Yep, servitude.
Cleaning bathrooms.
Yep.
Making sure Sunday school books and Bibles were out. That the kitchen was swept and mopped before Sunday service began. You know, thinking about what I'm gonna play on Sunday, I had to serve. Right. And I don't think, you know, a lot of guys, they see us, but I don't think they see us. They don't see what we had to do to be who we are.
Right.
They see us, they see us physically, they may hear us, they may experience us, but what we went through to get to where we are was a whole it was a whole production. We had to serve. We had to serve to the place of getting what we needed, or getting what we were instructed to do before we can even touch the instrument or think about.
It had to be on time.
Come, dude, talk about it. Talk about it.
Yeah, it had to be.
So this is such a great conversation, man. I don't even want to end this, man. Let me play a quick game with you. I'll probably just do three quick ones. So it's called This or That. this or that. So I'm just give you two things. You tell me what you prefer. Here's the first one: lap steel, pedal steel. I already know the answer to this one.
Lap.
Yeah. Preaching or playing? Playing.
Yes.
That was easy.
Yeah.
Hymns or contemporary music? Or contemporary worship?
Oh. That's hard. That's hard. But I love hymns. You can't go wrong with hymns.
You can't go wrong with hymns.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with hymns.
Yeah.
Well, man, listen, I don't want to stop because this is so. I want to admonish everyone. Go back, share this feed with your musicians. If you know a creative, you know an aspiring young musician, male or female, send them this. Share this clip with them. Share this feed with them. And for those of you all who have not streamed this brother's album, Rise of the Panther, go do it now. Go do it today. Go buy it. Support my dear brother, Reggie Footie Covington. Man, we could talk for hours, man, because this is conversation seems like it's just taking off. Like we going everywhere we need to go. I love to end talking advice, and you've been giving it throughout the whole. But I would love for you to, in whatever way you want, man, if there's something that you could leave a young musician, an older musician, a preacher, anyone that's listening to you, and again, thank you for your gift of the Rise of the Panther and sharing it with us. What would that advice be to them?
I guess I would, to an aspiring musician or a seasoned musician, either or, I would just encourage you to be you. Be you. You know, a lot of times we hear things that we like, and there's nothing wrong with sharing what you've learned from somewhere else or someone else. Nothing wrong with that, but make it your own. You have to have your own stamp on what you do. If you don't do that, you'll always be a me too.
Wow.
You know, so if you really want to, like, there's a reason why you're gifted. There's a reason why you have what you have. So if you're pursuing that and you're walking in that, then make sure you put your signature on your own sound, you know, and see what God has for you. That's the way you can be identified. You have to have your own identification card. You know what I mean? But in the meantime, please go back and learn hymns. Like if you get a Kimberell or somebody, you don't want to be embarrassed when they go old school and sing a hymn, and then they have to turn around and tell you, stop playing. You'll be known as the guy who couldn't play. You know what I mean? So you got to watch your reputation and just make sure you're well-rounded. Also, if you're playing for worship and praise, make sure if you have a vocalist who is doing runs and riffs, make sure as a steel player, you're not picking while they're riffing because it clashes. So you'll get your time to shine. As soon as they put the mic down, then that's your time to pick and solo. That's all.
Wow. Kudos, man. You listen, for those of you all that have been here with us, thank you for being with us, man. My special guest, Reggie Footie Covington, man. Thank you. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for sharing. Yes.
One more thing.
Yes.
There's a track on the album. I called it "Uphold Me."
Okay.
And many people may listen to it and think it's so refreshing. But what I put on the album was everything from Philly. Everything that came from Philly. So the song originally came out, the music piece came out the way I played it. It came out as a song, "Uphold Me" from the Winans, and that came from Robert and Kim back in '91.
Wow.
Dr. Manning heard it, and she came to an assembly and she began to sing lyrics, and that's how the change, because His Joy has unfolded. that's when the change came in. But it originated here in Philly. So I just wanted to put out original pieces from Philadelphia. So it was Uphold Me from the Winans. Just wanted to leave that nugget too.
Listen, man, thank you. This is good because you're giving context and content and culture and just history to your sound, to where it came from, to the pioneers, Kim, Robert, my dear brother Musta Kim, and how it evolved. Like, this is amazing, man. I'm grateful for you, man. I can't wait to see you again, and I know I have to put it out there, man. We would love to have you 2025 in Florida for the Sacred Steel Summit.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna put it out there, Alvin. Okay. I put it out there. So
I'm gonna try to come next year.
Please do. We would love to have you. And man, man, you're gonna be blessed.
Yes,
You'll
sir.
be blessed. Bring the crew, man. Bring the crew with you.
Got you.
Bring your nephew with you. We'll talk. We're gonna talk more about that. But listen, Facebook, YouTube, thank you all for joining us. I'm so excited to have interviewed my dear brother, Reggie Footie Covington. Listen, Alvin is already in the chat. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come on, young preacher. Yeah, man. We love you, Footie. And,
yes, sir.
and there's so many musicians that again, you've probably met but have not met, that really admire your sound, admire the gift and you, the person.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So keep going, keep doing what you're doing, man. You really have something that we all need, and you encourage us
yes, sir.
to be our unique selves, to be creative within our own self and spread your wings and fly,
Yes, sir.
the way we do. So, man, I appreciate and thank you all for tuning in with us here on Dante's Harmony podcast. Thank you, Reggie, for being my guest and for all the knowledge that you've shared. Please give your love, my love to your sister and to your family and friends up there in Philly. I'm gonna get up there soon, man. I gotta come through.
Yeah, come, man.
Yes, sir. But again, thank you, Facebook, and we will see you all very, very soon. Again, Detroit. I will be in Detroit on November the 2nd. Joy Road, House of God. Looking forward to seeing you all there. And again, for those of you all who have not downloaded the album, Rise of the Panther, streaming everywhere. Y'all go support my dear brother Footie. Love you, man. Love you all, Facebook, and we will see you all soon.
Absolutely.
Discover the perfect blend of faith, fashion, and unity with Carry Him, the clothing line that celebrates diversity and shared humanity. Each piece is thoughtfully designed by founder and CEO Lindsay Dillard, incorporating powerful symbolism and the Pangea map to remind us of our interconnected world. Shop online now and elevate your wardrobe with meaning and style. Use code DHP15. That's D as in Dante's, H as in Harmony, P as in podcast, 15 at checkout for an additional 15% off your purchase. Embrace the message. Carry Him. Visit Carry Him's website to start shopping today.